Okay. Okay. We are live. Hi, everybody. I'm a little bit early, like by 3 minutes, but that's okay. This is Elena of the Witch's Box, and we get together every Friday to do a guided meditation live. But I also want to say hello to those of you who are watching this on the replay. The intention behind these is that we get together live in real time to do ritual of some sort, just to kind of combine the energy and really do healing work as witches all over the globe, but also then to grow a repository of these videos so that at any time you want to do any of these meditations, you just come back here and you have now a library of meditations to choose from. So these are here to be used as often and as much as you need. So, hi, how are you? I'm going to check my things. I think that we're good. I didn't have a meditation last Friday, although I sent a recorded one 2 weeks ago. But as you know, I was gone last week. So thank you for being patient with me. I am officially back. And I'm actually considering potentially having maybe 2 or 3 recorded meditations kind of in the bank so that if I ever have to not be here for a Friday again, the team's got one to just kind of put out there in the world. So hopefully in the next week or so, I'll just have that so that there isn't any break in the continuity. In any case, hello, welcome. Tell me that you're here. Who are you? How are you doing? Happy Friday. It is a gorgeous, I'm looking out my window. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous fall day here in Idlewild. It's beautiful. The sky is just a brilliant blue, but it's nice and crisp and cold, which I love. It's just the best time of the year up here. So okay, let me really quickly check my things because my screen looks a little bit different than it normally does. Why does that look different? Screen settings. Yeah, I don't know, and I'm not hearing from anybody, which makes me a little bit nervous. We have an excellent connection. There are, I think, either 5 or 11 of you here. It's a little my screen's a little confusing. I'm not going to lie. Something is happening here. So if you guys are here, let me know. But I'm not seeing anything. Let's see. New chats. There we go. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Wonderful. Okay. Now I know. Hi, Maria. Welcome. Okay. You know what? We're past it now. I don't know if you guys saw the Tuesday live, but here we go because Mama can't see. Maria, good morning. Layla, good morning. Hello, it's so good to see you again. Yes, and Layla, I confused you for someone else last week. I just got out of the hospital yesterday for having COVID. Oh, honey, I'm so glad that you're out. Yeah, we're glad that you recovered or that you're done, at least with the big part of COVID. It's been intense. We not to, bring it all in, but California is actually doing probably one of the better states in the union in the United States in terms of its infection rate. However, the county that we're in has not done historically very well with COVID, but our small town has. We're in a really small town, 2,500 to 3,000 people when it's not like a high tourist season. And everyone pretty much knows each other or knows of each other. It's a small community. And in the last 2 weeks, we have had just like an onslaught of deaths. It's been really, disconcerting doesn't even seem to cut it. It's been really horrible. So, I'm glad that you're out of the hospital. I'm glad that you're past it. It's a little freaky. It's been scary. We've kind of felt, and we have all sorts of people up here, people who get vaccinated, people who don't get vaccinated. I'm not really going to jump on a bandwagon one way or another. But because we all know each other, it's just a really intense hit because we've all lived in this little bubble like, oh, we've done really well in Idlewild. It's been a hard month here. It's not over. It's a scary thing. So Layla, I am so glad that you're at least out of the hospital and that your body recovers, that you recover quickly, because it's going to take a while, even if you are now symptom free, because it's a big hit. It's a really big hit to the body. But so glad that you're here. Okay, hold on. Hi, Emily. Welcome. Emily and I had a mini chat at like 2:30 in the morning my time because Mama couldn't sleep last night. Layla, okay, why am I even trying? I don't even know why. Just let it go. Layla Ackerland. Hello, hello. So Layla Morrow, I confused you for Layla Ackerland. I think it was when we had our live last week because I was asking if you got your deck. I hope that you finally got your deck. And I can't keep track of everyone's last name. Listen, hello. Wonderful. Kelly, hello from Florida. It's 87 and muggy, hoping a cold front comes our way. Yeah, I was in Florida a month when was I in Florida? At the first week of September, I think I was. Man, it is a sauna. It's a sauna in Florida. And I was in Mexico last week and it was a sauna there too. It was intense. I am so happy to be back here with this cold weather. It's been magic. And about today's Friday, I think it was maybe Monday, we had a windstorm with hail. Oh my god, it was amazing. It was so great. Okay, Kelly, Michelle, hello. Yes, you finally got here. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so I think I'm just in a really big delay, is why I just wasn't seeing anybody. Seeing here, good, wonderful. Hello from Louisiana. 6 weeks in the hospital is too much. Oh my goodness. Angela, hello, welcome. Mimsy, I got your gift. Thank you so much. In fact, I was gonna bring it to show it off here, and I completely forgot it at home. But because I brought another gift that I'll show you in a second. But thank you so much. It was very, very sweet. I love them. They're beautiful. Mimsy sent me these two beautiful, like bejeweled bookmarks. Very lovely. Uh, Hold on. Lissam says, been lucky so far. Our coup type or COVID has been pretty bad. Our city is only about 150K. Yeah, it's been hard. Project Refine Me, love the name. Yes, Idlewild is a great little town, I have to say. Oh, good. I was waiting for you, Layla. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we finally got the deck to you because holy cow. Okay, it was a delay. Trying this again. Good morning. It's been a very strange day. Yeah, it feels like it's been a strange week, you know? It's been an interesting week. Man, bad timing. Healing and protection prayers to all. Yes. Wonderful. Hello, Kelly. Okay, I said hello. Yes. Okay, and now I'm losing track. And hello from Massachusetts. Ashley, welcome. And Margaret, hello. Okay, wonderful. County. There you go. Mimsy says you're very welcome. I got those bookmarks as a kid and I know, and they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. Oh good. I'm glad that you love the deck. Okay. Okay. Welcome. Welcome. And if you are just joining, this is our live guided meditation that we do every Friday. Here, I can take these off now. We do every Friday live around 10 a.m. Pacific time. And let me just do a little perusal of my life because it feels like something changed on the back end of YouTube and now I have no idea what's going on. I don't really have any major announcements other than to say that today is the goodness, get my words together. Today is the cutoff date to subscribe to the books or to the box to make sure that you get the November box. If you subscribe after today, your first box for either one won't be until December. So just to let you know, this next box is going to be the last of the major planets and planetary magic that we've been doing for the last 2 years. We're going to be working with Mercury. We're going to be working with communication, with writing. I am sending out these gorgeous crystal crystal blown calligraphy pens with ink. It's a whole beautiful set to help with the whole magic of Mercury and all what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a beautiful box. So if you're not subscribed and you want to be, today's the cutoff for that particular box. If you subscribe after today, then you won't get a box until December. So just so that you know. The other announcement is that the mystery boxes are almost done packing. Well, no, that's not true. We've got half of them done and we're waiting for a couple more things. So they won't all fully ship until next week, but they're heading out. And I'm going to make an announcement here. I'm really excited about this, but there will also be little notes included in everybody's box for the next couple of months moving forward. We have begun the process of, instead of filling those boxes with the burgundy crinkle paper, which I love. I love the color matching that goes between the gold and the burgundy, but the amount of waste and the amount of paper that we go through is just staggering. I mean, it's just staggering. I can't even, it's a lot. But we've come up with a plan so that the amount of paper that comes in and that we have in the workshop that ends up just getting recycled and thrown to the dump where they do recycle, we're going to start shredding our own paper in mass quantities. And so you're going to start getting a mixture of other colors with predominantly white and tan and neutral colors with the burgundy as a way for us to just start recycling some more paper because it's just insane. So that is a new change coming up on the horizons, but there will be a note about that in each box. Oh, Jennifer. Okay, hold on. I lost track of people. Hold on. Beautiful. Oh, thank you. Happy birthday. Yes. Hello. This is Jennifer Hale. Welcome. I cannot wait for your review of Mythology of a Magical Life. I know, wasn't that a good book? That will be coming in the next, it's not coming next week. I think it's the week after, which I can't even think of the date, but in 2 weeks, the review for that will be coming out. And happy reverse or belated anniversary. Where did I talk about that? I can't believe you can remember that, but yes, I was gone for my birthday on our anniversary, my husband's and I, and I'm here for my birthday. So we reversed it. Since I celebrated my birthday last week, we're going to celebrate our anniversary today. And it may be something super low key because we're both just tired people. We're just tired. But we're going to hang out tonight. Calligraphy, really pens. I love pens. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're really, really beautiful. Hey, Michelle. Okay. I think that we're good. Let me talk a little bit about today's meditation and then we can get into it. This is when I don't have any words. When I talk about holding, this has been a big theme that's been up for me for the last couple of weeks. So I thought I'd just roll it into and integrate it into the meditations that we do. When I talk about holding, there are things that we have to hold. Right? You have a life, you probably, if you don't, you may have a family, you may not, you have a place where you work, you have responsibilities. We hold a lot in our lives as adults. I hold a business, I hold my relationship with my husband, my friendships, the things that I'm interested in. Those are things that are attended to in my life. But underneath those day-to-day things, there is a tense holding that can develop when we're running out of this constant anxiety, this low grade behind the scenes kind of anxiety that keeps us holding almost for dear life to keep things moving, to keep things managed, to keep things safe, to keep things at bay. Like if we have woundedness from our childhood that we haven't tended to, those parts of us are still holding. There's a stagnant energy, there's a blockage, there's a knot of holding that goes on there because either we haven't dealt with it, we're not aware that it's there, or we are aware that it's there, but we don't want to deal with it and it's still driving us. And then the day-to-day holding can also be really stressful and really intense to hold. And not to make this about me, but just to give you examples, to run a business where you have a team and people that you're responsible for and having to make money and find ways to be profitable so that then the people who are relying on you for a paycheck can get paid. Like there is some stress involved there. There's something that I'm constantly holding around that. And the answer isn't that that's just the way it's supposed to be. There are ways, especially as witches, to dance with all this energy where it's not this kung fu grip. Like, what is the movie with the joke with the kung fu grip? That might not even be an appropriate joke. So maybe erase that. Never mind. But it's a tight grip, like a desperate life-saving survival grip, as opposed to moving and dancing with it in a really intuitive way. That holding can be an incredibly energy draining, stressful part of our lives that continues to run us even if we're not aware. So when we do the meditation today, that is really what we're going to be dealing with. It's that kind of holding, that desperate, like I got to keep it together. I got to manage it all. I got to keep all those plates in the air. There are ways that we're doing that we're not readily readily aware of. Because yes, I can say work, I can say my relationship, I can say I don't know what else is going on, but I can say those things, and those are obvious day-to-day things. But then there are other things that are in the background that we're still holding on to. So that's what we're going to address in this meditation. Definitely, I recommend having a journal quick, like nearby, so that you can write down whatever may come up, because it may be that in this meditation something comes up that you weren't even aware of. Um, I'm going to give another example really quick because it's something that came up this week. And it just came up, so I'm going to share it with you. Another example is, as an example, a child of an alcoholic, an adult child of an alcoholic, or an adult child of an addict. There's a lot of unconscious holding that can happen in your body, in your psyche, in your soul, because you still haven't fully tended to those parts of you that were neglected as a child. Does that make sense? So that gives you a little bit more of a flavor of what kind of holding I'm talking about. Okay. What else do I need to tell you about that? Let me see if there's any questions about this, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll start. Thank you, Project Refine Life. Oh, good. I'm glad, listen, that you're enjoying that box. Okay, and so you definitely need something to meditate with today. Perfect. Okay, so I think that's it. That's all I really need to tell you, unless there are any major questions. We'll go into it. I'm going to start. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Oh, cute. Okay, I'm going to start by lighting a candle here. I created this beautiful candle, like a community candle that I collaged on the outside and the whole thing, and then I dropped it. The whole thing shattered, and so we don't have it. So today, what I have is this candle that I light when I'm meditating. So I'm going to light it here as a way to get us in. So if you have one as well, you can go ahead and light it as well. There we go. Okay, get yourselves comfortable. And start focusing on your natural breathing. And just tune into what the sound of your breath is coming in and out of your body. You don't need to force it or change it right now. Just what does it feel like and what does it sound like right now? Sorry. Now slowly begin to breathe with more intention. We've done this before, where you begin to lengthen your in-breath, slower, deeper. And likewise, you do the same thing with your out-breath, where you just let it seep out slowly. You want to lengthen and deepen. Savor as much of that air as you can. The slowness allows you to really feel what that air is for you as you inhale and exhale. There's a satisfaction there. There's a fullness there. There can be pleasure there. So as you play with those sensations, just continue to breathe with intention, where you take in as much as you can, expanding your rib cage, and then slowly let it just leak out, enjoying every bit of that. And then play with that a little bit until you land on a rhythm that feels easy and comfortable for you. As you breathe, check in with your body. Is there anything that's tense or tight or sore? You can use your breath to direct your in-breath to that area, and then your out-breath can be the way that you release some of that tension. So take some time to check in that way. And then each time as a distraction comes through in your mind, you can just use the exhale to let it go. And sometimes it takes a couple of breaths to do that, and that's okay. Now I want you to bring your attention to the following question. What are you strongly holding right now? What are you strongly holding right now? And let things come up. Even if you had one thing come up quickly, allow space for whatever else there may be to come up. So just let that question reverberate. What are you strongly holding right now? And remember that we hold so many things. We hold secrets. We hold wounds untold and unshared. We hold whole families and businesses and groups, things that we manage, things that we need to show up for, things that we don't need to show up for, but we still hold. Allow space for any of those things to come up if they're there. We hold a constant tension, often unconsciously, over circumstances of our past and our present day to day, and that holding can get lodged in our bodies and our souls. So if you get an answer that is surprising, just allow that wisdom to come through. You can question the whys later, but honor what comes up, even if you weren't expecting it. What are you strongly holding on to right now? Remember that the breath is movement. It's movement in your body, but it's also movement of energy. So if you're feeling like nothing's coming up or the answers have stopped coming, return your attention to your breath and let that movement inform you in any way that it needs to. As the answers come up, are there any new sensations in your body that have shown up? Take a moment to check in with yourself. Is there any tension in your chest or your throat, in your belly, your hands? Are they loose and relaxed or are they tighter now? Just check in to see if there's any new sensations in tightness or holding that's physically shown up while you're thinking of these answers. If you find a part of your body that's suddenly more tense than it was when you started, ask it which of the things that you're holding resides there. And if you haven't felt any new or changes in sensation in your body, then just continue to breathe and ask your body anyway, what specific holding is manifesting in your body right now, perhaps in ways that you don't feel. Spend some time riding your breath to that area if you found an area of tension, using the out breath to release what you can and to help you let go, if only just a little bit. If you find that you have some resistance or fear or increased anxiety around letting go of some of this holding, then just direct your breath to that area or to that holding without releasing anything on the exhale. But make the inhale an intention of love and nourishment. There is no wrongdoing here. It's all where you are. And as you do that, ask yourself how this holding supports you or harms you. Is this holding supporting you or harming you? Mm. Remember that if the answers feel overwhelming, that you can return just to the breath. And then when you feel ready, dip back into the question. What can loosening this tight grip do for your body, your mind, and your soul? What can loosening this tight grip do for your body, your mind, and your soul? As you ask yourself these questions, again, check back in with your body to see if anything new has come up. If you're feeling a surge of emotion, where is that emotion anchored in your body? Always come back to the body. It can be an amazing map for what we're holding and what we're feeling and what we've experienced. There's a lot of wisdom there. And again, if you're having challenges finding where specifically you might be feeling something in your body, breathe into the wholeness of your body. Letting the inhale be one of expansion and of love, and the exhale being one of release. What if you released it all? What if you let go? What would be different about you? Who would you be if you weren't holding on to all these things? Yeah. Who would you be if you were no longer holding on to any of these things? Hmm. Begin to release the questions so that your attention comes back to the breathing, just the breath, the long, slow, and deep inhale, and the long, slow release of air on the exhale. If you had a surge of energy or emotion or tightness and tension in the questions, just use the breath to release and relax some of that. Even if the emotions don't settle, let the breath create space around it for you so that you can feel it, but you can also intellectually understand it and continue to breathe with intention. The holding is not running you. You're the one doing this work consciously and with intention. As you breathe, regardless of what answers you came up with, take a moment and your breath to send yourself messages of love and acceptance and forgiveness and ease and compassion around the things that you've been holding. Remind yourself that the holding isn't a mistake. It's not bad behavior. It's survival. And it's the thing that has gotten you through a lot. So even though it might be hindering you or harming you in some way, understand that it's about surviving and that it got you through and it's okay. There may be other ways to work with life, but for now, this has served you, and that's good. So as you finish loving yourself up for surviving and managing as you could, drop that work, that process, and continue to focus on your breathing, regulating it, and letting it be the only thing that you're doing and feeling and experiencing. And when you're ready, transition back to present, to this group and this exercise that we're doing together to engage. But before you do that, if you have anything that you want to jot down in your journal so that you don't forget and you can come back to later, please do so now. And then when you're ready, come back to the chat. I'm going to speak a little bit while all of you transition back and journal if you need to. This can be a meditation that can either bring up a lot that you either were aware of or weren't, or both, which can then create a lot of emotion and a lot of frustration and just an onslaught of a lot of emotions. Or it can be a meditation that can create a lot of frustration because nothing comes up. And yet there's still something behind the scenes in the unconscious where the holding is still there. So there's almost this clash of, I'm not coming up with anything, but the rest of you's like, hello, we're holding a lot. But just the act of setting the intention to ask the question, to look, and to be open to the answer begins to move a lot of energy and can bring up the answers you need later. Part of this work is really about uncovering and identifying and engaging the fact that most of the time we are run in our lives by our anxieties and our fears, and that results in a lot of holding. It disempowers us, it can harm our health, and it doesn't allow for us to make really conscious, engaged, and present decisions in the things that hit us day to day because we're being run by something else that's reacting. The holding can be exhausting, and sometimes we run through our lives exhausted and not quite sure why. So coming back to a meditation like this to really continue to identify what you're holding and why can be incredibly empowering, but also a little destabilizing because it can feel um, very very frustrating because we don't readily know how to break the pattern. It's a habit that's so ingrained in us that it's more than just identifying it, right? Identifying it doesn't necessarily stop it, but it does bring it up for review. And when you look at it with intention and with the intention of shifting the energy around it, opportunities for that learning and for that healing will come up in your life. They will. So there's that. I encourage you to spend time journaling about this. Again, after these kinds of meditations, I encourage you also to pay attention to what your dreams show you, because a lot can come up in the dream time, especially if you've named something for the first time that you hadn't named before. You've kind of opened that doorway between the conscious and the unconscious a little bit wider. So the dreams will start to work through that, and you might come up with some as yet unknown information when you pay attention to your dreams around this kind of thing. So, like that. Um, yeah, the holding. We hold a lot. We hold a lot, even if we don't know what it is. So, I also want to apologize for this large dropping sound that came through at the very beginning of the meditation. And if you are watching this on the replay, know that you are part of the group experience. We've already created an energetic space for this kind of work, for this particular work together today, as we did it as a group. So that if you do this on the replay, you're tapping into that. You're tapping into an already established space that is going to hold you while you do this meditation. I definitely also encourage you all to write thoughts and questions down below in the chat section of this video. I try to come through here and answer questions as they come up. Sometimes I miss them, but I try to come up and find them as much as possible. But it's also important to share with each other so that you don't feel alone in your experience. Sometimes we'll have an experience with these meditations and we're like, I don't know, is this what I was supposed to feel? Is that, is this it? What is it? But when you share with others, chances are that what you're experiencing, other people are experiencing too, and that allows space for the communication and for the sharing, and for both people, or all those of you who are reading it, to have an expanded understanding about what the experience and the journey of this kind of meditation could be. So I definitely encourage that crosstalk. I think it's important to connect with everybody. And I think that that is it. I'm on a big delay. big delay. So I really couldn't even tell you if someone is typing or not, but I'm going to give it some time. If there are any questions or thoughts or feedback on the meditation, I'd love to hear it. And I'll hang out for a few more minutes before I close it out. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm definitely on a big delay. It's very weird. It's never easy to gauge. It's never easy to gauge the delay. It's a strange thing. Yeah, Michelle, it seemed like you had. I actually got a little tearful seeing the crying emoji, which is interesting because it's like I don't really relate to emojis really. But I felt that. I felt that. Jennifer says, the body scan showed me that my shoulders are tight. I am overdue for a massage, Brad. That's where I hold everything. Yeah. The body is a map. It's a beautiful, beautiful map, and we don't pay attention to it enough to really take notice of how much it's taken the hit for what we don't process through. Mimsy says, thank you for this. As you said, it's been a strange week. Loki seems to be visiting along with the retrograde. That's a big one. That's a big one. Emily says, it brought up some things for me that I wasn't expecting, but I felt very safe in this space. So it was really healing. Good. I'm glad. Angela says, felt my body healing, but dark mostly. You felt your body healing, but what came up was dark mostly? Is that what you mean? Your hands went numb. Yeah, the numbness can be a little bit of anxiety or the rush of energy, for sure. The body says so much, and we don't, oftentimes, the things that we do magically and the things that we learn as witches magically is like from the neck up. It's all mental. Even if we're working in the realm of energy, the energy's outside of us oftentimes. And I'm trying to find ways to incorporate this type of work more and more into the guided meditations, but the body is the place. The body is the temple. The body is the biggest magical tool that we're ever going to have. And so much of our lives we spend way outside of it, or just cut off from the neck down, thinking that it's all here. But understanding where we're holding the energy and then working with the body to move it can create incredible healing, but also incredible connection with energy in a way that also amplifies our magic and amplifies the way that we move and create and manifest in our lives. Hold on a second. I'm having a little bit of a... See, now I know what it is. I think I've discovered what creates the challenge with my stream. But we'll see if what I just did fixed it. Anyway, I'm sorry for the interruption, but I just got a warning that the bit rate is super low. But it coincided with my Backblaze backing up my computer. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let me see what Cami said. Oh no, Kelly. Kelly says, instantly started crying. I needed to release that. Good. Yeah, and the crying can be an amazing, like we fight the crying often. I don't. I cry at the top of a hat at this point. But the crying is also another indicator that you're moving energy, especially out of your body. It's a beautiful release. Sometimes we just need to cry. Cami says, good purge indeed. I was holding on to guilt and fear, and even if I am not ready to completely forgive myself, I send forgiveness. Yes. And that's a beautiful way to do it. Sometimes we're just not ready. Sometimes we know that what we're holding is harming us, but we cannot let it go yet. And that's okay. I mean, the key also is so critical. Be compassionate, be loving. There's no right and wrong here. It's just our process. So oftentimes we'll figure that out, that if I let go of this holding, who would I be then? Who would I be in the world? Who would I be and what new role would I have? I don't really want to let it go, even though maybe it's draining you. Maybe it's not good for your health. That's okay. Just even setting the intention of one day I want to forgive myself for this and one day I want to let this go. Just stating that and owning that can begin the movement towards healing. So beautiful, beautiful sharing. Angela says, darkness, I felt a reverberating energy, but I didn't sense much. Also, could be my sensing much of my blood and endocrine disorders too, though. Yeah, that's a whole other layer of this kind of work where we start to tap into what is the story, what is the dynamic behind particular disorders and disease in our bodies. And that's not about blame. That's that all of it is connected. And when we understand that, yes, you have a particular diagnosis in your physical health, we often just get stuck there. We get stuck on the name. We get stuck on this is the thing that is going on with my body, but we never attach it to or let the association be seen around what is the energetic dynamic in my life that corresponds with this illness. So opening that door is a beautiful way to start that process. And it's not about blame, like, oh, I felt this, so I created this illness. No, it's that those things always go hand in hand, and understanding what the connection is gives us greater and deeper understanding into what we're dealing with physically. It may not cure it, but you have much more understanding about it, which is an important process. Oh gosh, now I don't know why my eyesight, sometimes I can make it out, sometimes I can't. Jacqueline says, it's very hard when you hold things that you cannot forgive yourself for. Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad, right? I mean, it's sad that we do this with ourselves, that we don't find readily the ability to forgive, and that's okay. It's still sad and it's still hard, but at one point, I know you will. It will happen. Michelle says the grief forgiving self is the hardest, and we are always hardest on ourselves. Yes, and I believe I believe our own worst enemies for at least for myself. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, Project Refine Life, thank you, says thank you, Elena. I'm very selective of whom I choose for my coaches, teachers, and guides, and I truly appreciate you and your energy. Thank you. That means a lot. You guys honor me by showing up, and I love that we do this together, and that even in a simple way we can still do work together, even from across the planet, which is beautiful. I always walk away from these feeling so much better, even though I too have a lot of emotion that came up. I wasn't really doing the meditation with all of you, but just the act of being in the intention can bring up a lot. So like that, take care of yourselves, be gentle with yourselves today. Take your journals with you wherever you go in case something comes up that you want to write down and deal with later, or just remember later. And the same thing with the dreaming. This is an amazing time. I'm going to veer off a little bit from the topic and say that at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the fall season. We are approaching the dream time, the season of the dream, which is winter, but I start now. Most of my dream work happens between October and like early January. Um, so one of the things that you can do to support that, like if you wanted to go to sleep tonight with the intention of wanting more information, wanting to understand the holding a little bit more, you can set that intention before you go to sleep, along with the intention that you will remember everything when you wake up, and always journal when you wake up what you remember. But this is a great time to invest in some. We sent mugwort out with our boxes. I don't remember. I think maybe it was 4 or 5 months ago. So some of you may have already gone through it. But if you can get a hold of some mugwort, making some mugwort tea. You don't have to have a whole lot, half a cup, a whole cup if you want before you go to sleep. 1 to 2 tablespoons per cup that you steep, depending on how strong it is. It isn't a really great tasting tea by any stretch of the imagination. So you can vary it between 1 and 2 tablespoons, depending on how you like the flavor. Before you go to sleep, and then you go to sleep, and that enhances and helps you remember your dreams, and it really takes you deeper into the dream work. Mugwort is a really beautiful herb for that. And if you're like, it tastes like swamp soup, I don't want to drink it, then you can just put it in like a little charm bag or a little pouch that you can put underneath your pillow or right next to your pillow, or your nightstand, and that also can support you in the dream time as well. Let me see, we've gotten more comments. Yes. Okay. Mimsy says you're doing the best you can with what you know at the time and what you have at the time, and in time you can forgive yourself. Absolutely. Yeah, mugwort is a great herb. It's a beautiful herb. But again, I'm used to drinking things that taste like swamp soup, so for me, I always forget that some people are like, it's gross. It's not gross, but it's not like a pretty flowery flavor. It's very earthy, which can be its own ritual, right? So you can drink it or you can have it near you. I also sometimes like to have it in a little, I love my little bowls, and I never have, they're all over the place, but right in front of me where, oh no, I don't have one, but they're small, little, from, oh gosh, there was a box 2 years ago, I think, where we sent out these beautiful onyx carved bowls. So they can be teeny, where I'll have the herb just in there. And sometimes if I'm working with a crystal, I'll have a crystal in the middle of it. And, or like a quartz crystal is really great. Smoky quartz can also be really good. Or a rose quartz, depending on what you want the dream work to be about. And I have that on the nightstand. That can be a little dangerous because if you flail a lot, or if you have animals that are really like, interested and curious, that might not work because their noses might just like dump everything everywhere. I've had that happen in the past. Or I reach over to like turn off, my phone, or it can be like spilled. So just know that you want to place that in a place that isn't going to be disturbed by your four-legged babies or you. But that can also be an alternative. Instead of drinking it, you can just have a little bowl of it with something else inside of it if you want on the side. I don't even know why I keep taking these off. These are my husband's, which, if you're watching, baby, sorry. I took the wrong glasses, the wrong readers. But next week I'm going to get these really cute ones. I'm very excited about it. Oh, Emily says, I smoke my mugwort, to be honest, but it's something I wouldn't do unless my GP medical practitioner said okay to taking, because it's not okay for everyone. Yeah. So because if you smoke it, the inhalation, I mean, definitely takes the properties of the herb into your system way faster than if you drink it. And then also smoking something can, can affect your lungs. So definitely check with someone, your professional health partner or practitioner, if it's okay to do. I'm trying to think, Emily, I don't know if you know this. I don't think that mugwort has any warnings for pregnancy. Do you know? Check it. Everyone do your due diligence before you take an herb, to make sure that you don't have any contraindications for the herb. It tends to be a fairly mild herb, but everything can affect people differently. So definitely do your due diligence in terms of what might be contraindications and what the herb actually does. And you can always start slow, where you just have it next to you. You have it in your space. and then you can move on to either drinking it or smoking it or ingesting it in some way. Da, 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 da. I don't know, Elena. Why? I take them off. I am new, but every problem that I think about is coming forward with direction of where to go to find ways to resolve them. I was led here. Thank you for sharing and lending your knowledge. So it's a welcome, Kim. I'm glad that you're here. I love that it's that you say every problem that you think about is coming forward with direction of where to go find ways to resolve them. Beautiful, beautiful. Angela says, been wanting to make a mugwort, lavender, rosemary, jasmine satchel for better REM sleep and dream work. Oh my God, that sounds like a beautiful combination of herbs. I love that. Yeah. Emily says, I think it needs checking. Yes, I think it's the liver, right? That mugwort can be difficult for sure. All right, everyone. So definitely do your due diligence and check it. For me and the way I use it, I don't have any liver issues. I don't really have any, thankfully, any major medical issues that would be exacerbated by most herbs. Most. But when I work with mugwort for dream time, I will do it every night for a very short period of time. Where I'm doing intensive dream work, oftentimes the dream work that I'm doing at this point is where I'm actually going into the astral realm and doing spell work there to match the spell work that I'm doing in the physical form. So it'll be like at most a whole week's worth at a time, and then I kind of lay off of that and just let the dream work happen without the mugwort, or I have it next to me on in a little bowl, like I said earlier. The other thing is that and that's also because, again, TMI, if I drink too much before I go to bed, I will pee a couple of times throughout the night, and I don't want to be interrupted that way. So I tend to kind of manage all of these different physical needs, right, all at once when I drink it for a little while, but then I don't drink it all the time. But you have choices so that if you do have some physical issues that you are afraid you might exacerbate, it's not any less effective if you have the energy of that herb or that botanical in your space, especially when before you go to sleep, you connect with both the herb and the intention. You're bringing all of those things into your magical working, which is going to be your dream. Yeah. Hold on. Yes, and as Margaret said, you can always work with the spirit of mugwort if you're concerned about the consumption. Perfectly said. Beautiful. Emily says, yes, holding an herb in your hands as long as it's not toxic is so beautiful. And then Mimsy says, or Emerance says, mugwort is not considered safe for pregnancy. Good. So always check, people. Please always check. It also makes your cycle funky. Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Mike, welcome. We are at our tail end, Mike, but you can catch the meditation on the replay. So it's an hour in. This was lovely. Thank you. I don't have any more announcements, but I did want to show you one of my gifts this morning for my husband. I got 2 of these. Was kind of a fun, frumpy witch hat that he got me. I'm kind of like, it's kind of cute. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I got a red one, and I got it's like a dark, well, this is brown, like a dark graphite gray, but these are so cute. So anyway, this is the fun little gift that I got this morning. Before I headed out, I wanted to share that with you because, you know, we're witches and we have witch hats. I think this is like my 3rd and 4th that I have. Lissam says, I rarely sleep for more than 3 to 5 hours at a time. Have never enjoyed dreaming. Been a lifelong grave shift worker. Not sure what's up with that. If you are a grave shift worker because you're kind of at the counter schedule to what your body really needs, because your body is responding to the darkness and the lack of sun. You will disrupt your sleep, your dream patterns, but you will also likely not get the kind of rest that you need. And there's a lot written about that, so I would definitely check that out. You can do a Google search on that. But part of the disrupted dreaming or the disrupted sleep is because you're not your lifestyle isn't matching your natural circadian rhythm. There are some things to do to help support you. I don't know off the top of my head what those things are, but I know that I've read there are a couple of really good books right now too on sleep. There are a couple of things that I know you can do. I just don't know what they are to help balance out the effects of not sleeping at night, because that affects you. Even if you're getting a full 8 hours during the day, there's something about being off the circadian rhythm that can affect you and definitely affect the dreams. And not dreaming can also affect you. Um, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So I get it. But do some Google research, because I know that there's some supportive practices that you can do either with supplements and teas, or different exercises to, like, I think meditative exercises to help kind of bring you back into alignment if you have to continue to not sleep throughout the night when it's dark and our bodies are like, it's time to sleep, right? Lissam says, yep, it's been a lifelong thing, even as a kid, age 10. And then Margaret says, meanwhile, I can't stay up past 10 p.m. without some crazy shenanigans. I understand. Where was I? Oh, I think it was, I have a Sangha, a spiritual group and a teacher that I've been working with for the last 6 years. And we were, it was a couple weeks ago. We had a 3-day kind of weekend Zoom retreat because we're all over the planet as well. And we were talking about how some of us really love the fact that we're getting older. But then I think it was my teacher who said, but what is it about, like, by 9 o'clock, all I want to do is go to bed. What the hell is that about? And it's true. By 9, it's like, by the time 9 hits, I've already been forcing myself to not crawl into bed since 8 o'clock. Like, when the hell did that happen? Like, I don't understand. And then, I used to be a complete night owl, loved being up all night long. 8 o'clock, I'm like, okay, just stay awake until 9, just stay awake until 9, just, stay awake until 9. I can't really read in bed anymore because I'll just completely pass out. So I have to read sitting up, and then it's like, focus, it's, I don't know. And then I'm up like at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I don't mind the 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning is a lovely hour, but 2 is not good. I think that my travel disrupted my sleep. Margaret says, it's always amazing, or it's always amazing how diverse everyone's experiences are. And Lissam just flows with it. Emran says, I've had sleep issues my entire life, so I could probably write a book on everything I have learned about sleep and science and research, etc. Yeah, it's a big deal, and it's really exciting to see how much research has just been happening in the last, or coming out at least for people to read about in the last 5 to 10 years. It's an important part of our lives and our health, our mental health, right? Like, it's we need it desperately. And so managing it in a way that works. And I know now at this point, I think because I become so sensitive with the changes of my body and my rhythms, that like right now I'm not sleeping well, and it comes on the tail end of travel. Like, I was disrupted. It comes to the tail end of a pretty intense month last month. So it's like, okay, I know that I'm recovering. I know that I'm still in that kind of destabilization, and my sleep is just right on track with all of that. Like, it's telling me, even if I was ignoring it in a different way, I can't ignore the fact that my sleeping is just telling me, you're off. You're off. We're all off. It's all off. All right, my loves. I think that that's it. I want to really quickly, before we end it, to say that I think a couple of you were there on Tuesdays here on YouTube. I'm doing another live stream every Tuesday. I've moved it from Instagram. I used to do a live every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time on Instagram. But the troll situation there just completely, it was just lame. And so I've moved it all to here. So if you haven't been part of the thing that we were doing on Instagram, on Tuesdays here now on YouTube, I do an oracle reading for the week, and then we just hang out and do witchcraft talk, where we talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about regarding witchcraft. And it's usually an hour, sometimes it's an hour and a half, depending on what's going on. The last one that we did here, the first one that we did here on YouTube, unfortunately, ended 45-ish minutes in because my camera overheated and the screen went black, and I was able to still keep talking, but it was a little wonky. Hopefully, I'm gonna figure something out. Someone suggested, I think a few people suggested, and my husband suggested that I put like a little fan on my what is it, my camera, because I have the heater now cranked up to like 80 because it's so cold that I think it's also contributing to my camera overheating quicker. In any case, I'm hoping that next Tuesday it won't cut off and we'll just be able to hang out for as long as we want to hang out together. But it's happening Tuesdays, every Tuesday, and then we have this happening every Friday. So like that. And then let me see what the remainder of the comments were, and then I am going to go. Listen, this is beautiful. Listen says, and I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Once I was able to accept the way my body wants to do things and not feel somehow guilty for being different and set my boundaries for downtime, it's all good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wait a minute. I think I missed something. We love to see it. What are you talking about, Margaret? What am I doing? Did I miss something? Oh, the hat. Oh, yes. Isn't it cute? It's totally cute. And then Michelle says, you're amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being exactly who you are, a beautiful, bright soul. Thank you. Yes, I will have a great day. Everybody have a wonderful day. And yes, Emily rocks the mod. Let me tell you. Thank you, Emily, for moderating. We don't really need a whole lot of moderating, but it's nice to have. Oh, there you go. So Emily just gave the link out for, I think it is that next week's live, for next week's live. That's already on. That's already on here. There's like a little marker there, right where you see it. So that's it, my loves. It's Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Be kind to yourselves. Make some magic. We are approaching a full moon in 5 days. No, not a new moon. Did I say new? I meant full. We're approaching a full moon in 5 days. For those of you who are part of the Moon Ritual Coven, the full moon ritual scripts and things will go out tomorrow. And for those of you who haven't joined the Moon Ritual Coven, there's a link down below for that. It's a beautiful monthly group where I create for you rituals for the new moon, the full moon, and the dark moon with teachings on that. And so you have rituals to do on your own, or you have rituals to do with a group, because I give you 2 different rituals, one for single work and one for group work. But the link to that is down below. But for those of you who are part of that, tomorrow those go out. And I think that that's the only other, that's it. I think that's all I have for announcements. Let me just double. Lisa M. Lisa M. Is it Lisa M? No, it's not Lisa M. Middle initial, but I love the way you say it. Okay, good. So I'll keep saying Lisa M. It sounds all very deliciously European. Okay, and Emily just provided the group, the link to the Moon Ritual Coven. Wonderful. All right, my loves. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing the work. Anything comes up around this, you can go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you next week. All right. Take care. Oh, actually, and look, let's do this together. I got the candle. I definitely believe in the power of blowing out a candle. It's okay to do that. There we go. All right. Take care.